We swam with sea turtles. Do you understand? Like these big ass turtles. I played with Nemo.
I've eaten a sea turtle before.
Well, that's just really cruel because these are some really majestic creatures.
Hi, lovelies. Welcome to Flirting with Travel. I'm Lexi.
And I'm Misty.
And today we are talking about Misty's recent trip to Bonaire.
Bon voyage, bitch.
I thought you were going to tell me how to pronounce it. Bonaire, Bonaire.
It's Bonaire.
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 Tell me about Bonaire.
So Bonaire is part of the ABC Islands in the Caribbean. Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. It is a Dutch island.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does it stack up population-wise, even tourism-wise, compared to like the Bahamas, Jamaica? Obviously it doesn't.
Oh, it's tiny. Yeah. That whole island is really small. There are 21,000 people on that island.
Total. Like
total. It is a sleepy island. It's the only, I think the other island that might be smaller is Saba, which is also in the Caribbean. It's a Dutch island as well.
I knew that. I knew that when you said it, Saba. I was like, everyone knows Saba. Like everyone knows Bonaire.
Yeah, no, Bonaire was amazing. I actually had a great time. Like, it was actually probably one of my top 5 trips. My best couples trip ever. Like, it was a really phenomenal place. It is a beach vibe, though. It's a beach bum type of location. Very, very chill. It's scuba diving paradise. You can walk off pretty much any shore and you're right in the water to dive. So it's phenomenal.
So it's a small island, beachy. I assume then, is it more like all-inclusive resorts or is it little one-off boutique hotels? What's the vibe there?
One-off boutique hotels. There's like no all-inclusive. Everything is going to be a la carte. Everything is out of pocket. It's a very small spot. I think the largest hotel there might have like 100 rooms. And honestly, I don't even know if that's a hotel. They call them resorts, I guess. So but it's small. It's very small.
Okay. So then I assume they don't have like skylines or anything. There's no downtown of Bonaire.
No, the skyline is the ocean. Like you're there for the water. Like that is, and you know what? It had the most beautiful sunsets because I don't know where it is on the horizon, but like once the sun goes down, the sky turns like orange, purple, pink. It is absolutely gorgeous. If you go to our Instagram, you can see some of the pictures I posted. So beautiful. But Bonaire was amazing. It was my 30th country. Yes, super excited. It was an experience vacation. So for me, I specifically went there for my open water scuba diving certification. So I became certified on my 30th country in a very tiny place, but it was amazing.
I mean, we're going to talk about Bonaire, obviously, but I do want to take a quick aside to say that some people are like fish in water. They just careen through.
That's Diambe.
Misty is more like, I would almost say a cat because of the fear, but not nearly as graceful. Like, kind of like a newborn calf in water. Like her legs are just askance, her arms are over this way, and she just doesn't know what life is like outside of the womb. I think that's what she looks like in water. So,
it's all on my face too. Everybody kept saying that. It takes me like getting in the water. It would take me because I did 60-minute dives, so it would take me about 20 minutes to calm down, like to like get myself together, and you have to work on your buoyancy, just like. Basically to know that water is completely around you. And if this respirator falls out your mouth, you are not breathing. Like your air supply is done. But once I got myself calm and I got myself together, it was a phenomenal experience. Now I'm not moving fast through the water. I'm not like ping, 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 trying to see everything. It's fish. They're all around you. So I'm like, okay, me, the fish, like, it was like I did feel like a fish out of water in the water type of situation. Cause I'm like, you're breathing the oxygen. So you're breathing and you're just like, okay. And then, when I was going through my initial training, I couldn't get a mask to fit because I have a fat face, right? And I couldn't get it to seal. So all this water kept going in my mask, but you're under the water. So now you're flooding because it's hitting your nose. And so your natural reaction is to breathe through your nose.
Oh.
So if breathe in the water, that's like atrocious. That's the worst feeling ever. But
I think they call that drowning.
Well, right. But then you still have air in your mouth. So you're just really fucked up. You're just like confused. But no, once you figure out how to clear your mask, and seal it. No, the fish did come play with me though. The fish would come up and they'd just be like, "What are you?" And you have all these bubbles coming out of your mouth from the respirator. And they're just like, And then they call their friend and their friend come look at you. And then they'd zoom around and zoom off. But then I would smile and then water would get into my mask. So now I'm like sitting here clearing. But I became confident. Like towards the end, in the 60-minute dive, you become confident. Like more confident as you go along.
So then a couple of questions. One, what gave you the motivation to go scuba diving, knowing like your history with water, which one day we'll get into because colorful. And then two, why did you choose Bonaire for your first scuba experience?
So my partner, he wanted to scuba. He wanted to get a certification. And I went to the Try Scuba thing with him in Atlanta because we went to Sea Ventures in Alpharetta to start our initial training. And I was sitting on the side while he was in the pool doing Try Scuba, which is what it says, Try Scuba. And I was just like, I'm not doing this. I don't do water like this. So why would I do this? But as I'm sitting there, I'm sitting next to a lady and her daughter, who is like 11, is in there doing Try Scuba, but she's a diver. And she was just like, it's not like swimming. It's not like you expect. It's super easy. It's a lazy man sport. It's extremely peaceful. Like you'll love it. So after talking to her, I was like, I'm going to do this. I didn't even do Try Scuba. So I never got into the pool to try it. I just committed to doing it. And when we came back to get out, then you start purchasing the equipment. What I didn't realize was how expensive scuba is.
It's an expensive hobby.
It is very expensive. It's not like a cheap man's thing. The training was $700. And then that doesn't include any of your equipment, your fins, your mask, your snorkel, any of like the extra ancillary products that you're going to purchase. And I didn't even buy like the full vest and the respirator, which is like $800, the cheapest one I saw. So I didn't even purchase any of that stuff, but I invested a good bit of money into this. So that's why I did it, because he wanted to do it. And I was like, I'll do this with him. This could be fun. Everybody was like, oh, it's so simple. It's easy.
I love the boldness. Have you ever heard the quote, like, may we all be as confident as a mediocre white man? Well, it just feels like you channeled that bit of confidence.
I did. I channeled all kinds of confidence until I was like, so now I have all the gear. And you know how, I don't know if you guys pick up hobbies, but when you like, you put on all the clothes and you're just like, this is who I am. I am this person. So I'm like super excited, like, okay. And then it comes like, get in the pool. And I get in the pool, I'm like, what the fuck? This is not who I am. And then I had the mask issue. So I kept like waterboarding myself because you have to swim. You have to do 14 laps to show your competency in swimming. So, but my mask keeps flooding. And so I've done like 10 laps individually, but you have to not stop. But I keep waterboarding myself. So now I'm pausing to clear my mask, but nobody taught me how to clear my mask. And I'm just just drinking pool water. It was so disgusting.
Ooh. You know, at least it was ocean water though, because you'll be vomiting for days.
Oh man, so listen, I drank some of the ocean water.
Oh, there you go.
On accident during my skills training when I was in the ocean. And just trying to like power through. The word of the year this year was consistency. So I have consistently challenged myself to be uncomfortable. It wasn't the initial definition of what I thought consistency was going to be for my life. I thought it was like consistently, pushing yourself forward, but it's really like been like, how can you make yourself uncomfortable to overcome this challenge? That is what I'm going through. And then the second reason of why I picked Bonaire. Bonaire is one of the top 10 places to dive in the world, right? Like I said, it's got mild to medium calm water. everywhere pretty much on the beach, on the island, you can walk right off and dive, whether you're jumping off the cliff into the water or you're just walking from the beach or through the coral to get to it. You can do pretty much 95% of that is a shore dive.
Okay, so then is Bonaire is it one of those islands that doesn't have like a ton of beaches? Instead, it's all like rocky cliffs, and then that's the moment you get from the cliff to the water, you're already in deep water and ready to dive?
No.
Oh.
No. Like, you don't get to 50 feet no, you can walk out. Like, you can walk out and be waist deep. Mm-hmm. Some of it is white sand beach. Some of it is like coral rock. It's beautiful. And you can just sit there and listen to the waves hit, and it's like singing to you. So imagine like a wind chime. That's what it sounds like. And then some of it is actually like cliff jumping right into it.
So the first time you dove, were you doing like a whole just like walk through the sand into the water? Mm-hmm. Or was, nice. It wasn't like you have to jump off a boat. And
no, actually I never got on a boat there.
Wow.
Every single one of my dives, I did 5 60-minute dives each. Mm-hmm. I walked right off and walked into the water.
Okay.
To me, which was way more reassuring. To fall off the boat into the water, well, there's ways that you got, but I think this was where I was way more comfortable, because you go and then they're like, okay, down, and then you just let out your buoyancy and you float and you just keep going down. Mm-hmm. So it's more peaceful in that experience, in my opinion.
Okay. And like within the same calendar year, you've been to like Cabo, which is an entirely different feel. Mm-hmm. So what's your feelings of doing an adventure vacation where you're doing something like Scuba versus not like a party vacation, but Cabo is somewhat of a party place where you're just drinking and relaxing. What are the different feels?
Cabo is definitely, we did an all-inclusive at the Hard Rock, which I wasn't in love with. Beautiful property, but I enjoy being local. Like I enjoy being, so we stayed the hotel, because the hotel was right off the street. We rented a car. We were right in the mix. So I wouldn't even be able to say it was comparative, just because I don't enjoy I like boutique hotels. I like in the heart, in the stream of things. So to me, it's not really comparative.
Okay, so you stayed in a boutique hotel?
Well, it was only 50 rooms.
Oh, wow.
Like they're all little Dutch huts. It was cute, but it wasn't a lot of rooms. It was a very small property. Even though it was a Marriott, it was very small.
Nice.
And it was on like this like lake. I don't want to say lake, like a river system, like a lagoon river system.
Okay.
That you could kayak through.
Nice. Okay, well then let's get into cost for a vacation. Now, you said this was a couple's trip.
This was a couple's trip.
So cost are per person or for 2 people?
It'll be a mixture. I'll just delineate. Yeah.
Okay. Break it down for us. How much were flights?
So the flights there, I booked with a mixture of points and money. So I spent $700 plus about 45,000 points.
Nice.
For 2 people.
Okay. Sure. Okay. And then how much was lodging?
Lodging, I booked with points. That was 90,000 points and $11 for a Marriott, through my Marriott membership.
Just so fancy. Transportation,
we rented a car. So a truck for 7 days was $245 for the week.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Plus gas. Petrol was very expensive there. $65 to fill up half tank.
Okay. Well, that's not bad though. You said $245?
$245, yeah.
For 7 days?
Yeah.
That was it?
Avis, yeah.
Okay. Taxes, fees?
That was it.
Insurance?
Total. No insurance. I booked on my American Express Platinum card, which gives you rental car insurance. So I saved about $200.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's a life hack if ever there is one.
Right.
Is get a card that gives you insurance. Okay, food.
Food for 2 people was about $1,200 to $1,500, maybe $1,500.
For 2 people, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, breakfast and lunch pretty much every day.
Dinner?
Or breakfast and dinner, because diving takes up 5 hours of your day.
Okay, for a point. And then activities.
Activities was scuba, like that was our activity. So for a single person, $2,200 for scuba. That would include your training, your open water certification fee, and equipment purchase.
Nice. So if you did this trip again, if you didn't need the training, you didn't need the certification, it probably cut it in half, right?
Oh, definitely. Because then all you'd have to do was buy a oxygen card and maybe some equipment rental if you're going to rent your equipment. But it would be you would only spend maybe like $400.
Okay. So grand total for this trip was?
For one person would be $4,000. For two people, it's like right shy of $7,000.
Okay. That's because the food was including like two people and things like that, and transportation.
Yeah. And then his equipment rentals.
Okay, that makes sense. So I feel like you've been lying about your toe. I think you came back with an injury. Tell us about that, Misty.
I did. I hurt my toe on the second day of open water certification. So on your vest, you have these weights. They're called ditchable weights. And they're 5 pounds in each side. So imagine the old school iron weights, and they're like this big. Mm-hmm. I thought it had clicked into the pocket. My guide made sure it clicked into the pocket because I was struggling. Mm-hmm. And then the motherfucker just fell out the pocket and perfect. It hit my middle toe. And I like wanted to cry. But because, like I said, I'm consistently pushing myself outside of my comfort zone, I trooped through the pain. And then my toe swelled and then swelled some more. And then it turned purple. And then I couldn't walk straight. So I had to hobble. The next day I didn't dive because I was in so much pain. He was trying to get me to go to the hospital. And I'm like, I didn't buy medical insurance. What do I look like going to the hospital? I don't go to the hospital in America. Why would I go to the hospital somewhere else? I don't care if they did say that the Dutch healthcare system is nice.
It's a Dutch colony. I'm sure they have like standard.
Bro, I'm not going. Okay. So he was like, your toe is broken. I was like, it's not broken. He was like, bend it. I'm like, it hurts. I can't bend it. No, it was really bad. So I'm like walking. I'm trying to walk on the side of my feet, on the front of my feet. And then I showed the people the next day when we're diving. They're Germans. Our guys were Germans. She's just like, huh? She's like, can you feel it? Because maybe it'll be okay if you can put the boot on. You can still dive with it. I'm like, I don't want the compression. I don't want it to pop. I don't really actually know what's wrong with it. I won't go to the hospital, but I don't feel like we should channel fate. Calm down.
So here's the thing. She sent a picture and it looked bad. And then I get a call with her crying, saying, he's trying to make me go to the hospital. I was like, how dare he? Like, I mean, I'm kind of on his side. I feel like you should go get this looked at because 100% certain that it looked like it was sprained or broken.
It was just bruised. See, this is the thing. You can't overreact. You need to not overreact.
I want to throw a photo of her busted ass foot in here so you can see why everyone was worried. Because
it did look pretty bad. If it wasn't me, I would have been on their vibe. But I was just like, I'm not going because I'm not incurring this expense. Like what I won't do is bring back a medical bill with me that I have no intention of paying.
It's like just find someone who's like, just call around. Is there a doctor here? I'm sure a doctor's on vacation there.
No, I just iced it. I took some Tylenol. Always bring Tylenol. I took some Tylenol. I put some ice on this bad boy and I elevated it.
You know what's going to happen? When you get to like 80 years old, when it starts to rain, you're going to know because your toe.
Inshallah. If I make it to 80, I am happy that my toe lets me know the weather is changing. Who needs a barometer when you have a toe? Yeah. No, but it was great. It was a very sleepy vacation. I will say that this destination is specifically to me for couples and families that have like little kids that love the beach. It's for people who love to dive. Or if you like to snorkel, but really like just dive because snorkeling, you don't see. We swam with sea turtles. Do you understand? Like these big ass turtles. I played with Nemo.
I've eaten a sea turtle before.
Well, that's just really cruel because these are some really majestic creatures.
I mean, it was a little bit greasy. Not my preference. I wouldn't do it again.
What about iguana? They had so many iguanas. The iguanas would sit there and prey on you during breakfast. Like they're just waiting for you to drop something. And I'm like, you're scary to me. Go away. But they did serve iguana soup. It was one of those. I'm actually interested. I didn't have any of it. But I was interested to see what they did with like an African stew with iguana. Like, was it going to taste like chicken?
So my thing is, iguana seems like it would be tough. How was
Maybe
the
they
meat?
marinated. I didn't eat it. I don't know.
Oh.
I stuck with the tuna, the fresh fish. All the fish was caught in the morning, so most of the restaurants were serving fish that was caught fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the tuna was amazing. The poke bowls, phenomenal. The tuna tartare sandwiches I had were amazing. Tuna sashimi, like I just ate a lot of tuna.
I'm all about that life, but you have to try the weird meats when you go places. Like, I'm not saying I would eat sea turtle anywhere, but I was on an island. They're like, hey, we have this sea turtle burger. And I was like, well,
It
when in
wasn't
Rome.
It wasn't actually none of the restaurants I went. I will say my favorite restaurants were recommended to me by at where Bonaire eats, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the hotel I stayed at, one of the ladies, she has her own food blog for the island.
Oh, nice.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But basically at where Bonaire eats is on Instagram. Go check her out. They recommended bagel and bloom for breakfast. Amazing. The coffee was delicious. The decor was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I really absolutely enjoyed it. You can go to our Instagram and see the walkthrough of it. Also, C'est La Vie, fresh pasta. I love fresh pasta.
Oh, nice.
But it's a very family style restaurant, intimate, 15 seats inside, great wine. And then for drinks, like there was the mixologist at Umbrella was so good. Like phenomenal. I had a what was it called, a passion fruit cocktail.
Ooh.
Oh my god, it was so good. And then they did a passion fruit cheesecake.
Oh, so good, right?
So good. It's like salty but not sweet. It was more of a savory. It tasted so good. Those are my top 3 recommendations though.
I'm kind of surprised that you can eat passion fruit, because don't you, like, you get weird about textures.
It was blended.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I've had them where they're like, they kind of remind me of chia pudding, which I like, and I know a lot of people don't care.
Chia pudding looks like snot. It's like snot in a cup. Like who? I don't understand people who drink it.
I mean, when in Istanbul?
When not? No, but Bonaire is a great vacation for those.
Okay, so good places to eat. We'll put some recommendations in the description below, so you can get some good restaurants. Okay, so you said the food was good. What was the pricing on food?
I mean, no meal was ever less than like $55 for us. Dinner was ranging always $100 to $130.
That feels about right. Now, was that just like one entree, one drink, or was that with like the whole smorgasbord of things?
So 4 drinks, 2 entrees, and an appetizer was $150. So the currency there is US dollar. So it's very weird. It is a Dutch island, right? But the currency is US dollar. So I feel like it was a bit more pricey.
I just refuse to go to any place that charges in US dollar that's not domestic, because you know that things are just overly expensive. And I always feel like, and they probably don't have like some second currency that all the locals are using, but it feels like the locals are just living a different life where everything is reasonably priced, and then they're charging me prices that I would get in the US. Which,
no, I don't know about that, because I went to their grocery store because we went to get water because we needed to hydrate. It was very hot there. So September is actually their hottest month. I didn't know that. And it was also like between 70 and 90% humidity, which was super humid. So their stores, I do want to tell you, they had amazing black hair care products, like full lines. I'm talking about Miel, Cantu, Carol's Daughter, As I Am, like full stock. They're better stocked than at Vegas.
Let me tell you, I've been a few places that have been like that. Even in Colombia, I was so shocked when I saw like brands that I use, because I expected like Pantene you're gonna find everywhere, but I was finding like real black hair care products, and I was like, oh, Afro-Colombians is really a thing. It's crazy how you go to other places and you think you're not gonna find the stuff you need, but you end up realizing that outside of the US they'll actually cater to black people.
Yeah, so I don't think anything was cheaper there. I feel it's a small island, so everything's imported as well. Yeah. And US dollar is the currency. The other only currency you would use would be euro, but nobody is using that there because of the Caribbean being 70% of Americans come to the Caribbean.
That makes sense. So with it being a Dutch colony, is that a place where you saw like a lot of Dutch people? Is that like a place where they go on vacation?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dutch and Germans. I saw some Canadians. I saw very few Americans.
Really?
And I saw even fewer Black Americans. I think we were the only Black Americans. And everybody kept looking at us. And I wasn't sure why. Obviously,
they thought you were a local and they were trying to figure out where you got your money from.
No, they moved past that. I think they thought we were like he was a rapper or a sports or athlete or something. And I was just...
Although, Miss, you get that a lot of places. So you were saying that you feel like people thought you were someone. Were they like looking at you like, oh, I feel like I should know this person?
But I don't know. When we'd walk into a restaurant, everybody would get quiet. They'd just look at us and then we'd move along. Now, I am good at like ignoring that kind of thing, but he was just like, what is this?
I was wondering about the safety aspect because I imagine on an island that small, it's super safe.
Yes.
But there is something about being the only of you that's there because, well, I guess that's a good question. Do you feel like you were accepted by the locals as a Black person, or were they like, well, you're a tourist, so you're not?
They were really nice.
Okay.
Well, they were weird, actually. It was that snobbish kind of reaction. Like the locals were very like, you can tell they're prideful regardless economically of where they're at. Mm-hmm. But also there was this new thing in 2010, like Aruba and Curacao, they have their independence. Well, they have their own independent government and ruling bodies. Mm-hmm. The Dutch government still rules Bonaire. Okay. So they don't have their own governing body. And at that point, a lot of people started coming from the Netherlands to retire, you know what I'm saying? So like it might have changed the dynamics of the island a bit. But no, it was, we walked into the liquor store to pick up some of when I went to the distillery, the Kadushi distillery that was out in Rickon, which is the oldest town on the island. It dates back like 300 AD. That's cool. Yeah, it's because they have like the native Caribbean Indians that were out there that were doing astronomy and following the stars and the turtle migration and all of that to know what type of year it was. Mm-hmm. But so we went out to the distillery, but it was closed. So I wanted to get some of the rum that they make out of the cactus that grows on the island. Mm-hmm. So we went to the liquor store, and when we walked in, the guy was like, he looked at us and he just started talking. And then he was just like, do you know Jadakiss? And I'm like, no. He was like, do you know him? Do you know him? And so I was like, who's him? He shows us the picture. And I look at the phone and I'm like, what?
I love it because it's...
And James was like, it's Jada. I was like, how would I know Jadakiss?
He's definitely not helping your argument by calling him by first name. You're like, it's Jada. You don't see him? You're like, no, I don't see him.
And then I was like, wow, Jada came here?
Is that why? Okay, so they know him because he came there?
Yes. So he came on a Carnival cruise and brought 700 people with him.
Oh, that's a big deal.
And he said that when he was there, I guess, like when you get off the Carnival cruise, when you get off the cruises, they port, and this was like the main street through I guess they're downtown. Mm-hmm. And he was sitting on a bench that was kind of like in this covered area. Again, mm-hmm. I told you it's very hot and humid there. So he's sitting on this bench, and there was this shop that didn't want him to sit outside. So they told him to move because it's just a bunch of Black people there, right? And he's like, you need to move because you're not, purchasing anything. So somehow the guy who owns the liquor store saw it, came out, was like, no, you can sit in my store. There's a bench in here, because he had a bench. The guy, like, Jadakiss was so appreciative, I guess, from the story I was told. I don't know. But he was appreciative. So he sat there on the bench. He looked around. He brought his people in. He bought one of everything in the store.
Nice.
So the guy was just like, turns out he was Jadakiss, the rapper from New York. I didn't know. And he showed me videos of he had brought like all his, I guess, friends, family, staff, all these people.
Real questions. How did he get all that back on a cruise ship? Was it his boat?
No, it was a Carnival cruise.
How did he get it back on it?
I guess you can bring it as a souvenir, right?
Oh, okay.
I don't cruise. I have no idea.
I don't either.
know.
I mean, if you happen to cruise, let us know if you can bring alcohol back. Okay, so I guess the important question, like 2 important questions. 1, would you go back?
I would. I want to go back next year.
Okay. And then the most important question I'm going to ask you, did you bring home any of the rum?
I did.
Oh, but it didn't make it to Vegas?
No, it did not. But the tequila did. I brought Mom the tequila.
Fuck me. She said, you don't get anything. Okay.
Did you want some rum? You don't even like rum.
No, I actually don't like rum.
So then that's why I didn't bring you rum.
Apparently they have tequila there.
I didn't know if it was good tequila. I mean, I tried all the liquors back to back, and I was buzzed afterwards. So
okay. I don't want anything from you.
Oh, wow.
That's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. I think we're
She
done.
doesn't even like the rum.
No one likes rum except people who like rum. But anyway, I think we're done here.
Class. Thank you for watching.
Like and subscribe. Also, please comment if you would go to the hospital if you're 100% sure that you have a broken toe. I
wasn't 100% sure that I had a broken toe. Okay. Thank you.
That's all for this week. Link up with us on Instagram at Flirting with Travel, or check out flirtingwithtravel.com for itineraries and more travel hacks. Taking off. Love you.